And welcome back to the Flow Friday Sports Show, kicking things off with Western Eyre Netball, and Rihanna Freeman is on the line with me, our correspondent for this association. How are you, Rihanna?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Going well, thank you. A little bit perplexed looking at the scores from last weekend, and I'm glad I've got you here for a bit of clarity. I don't have much to go by other than sort of last year's results and ladder position, but the Ceduna Blues winless last year, and they've started this season with a win, a one-goal thriller over Thevenard, 38-37.
Yeah, I probably should have backed myself last week. I was sort of on the verge of tipping them and I wasn't sure. I should have trusted my gut. Look, Sevi, to their credit, whole new lineup this year, so I think it might take them a little bit to settle. Blues have had quite a few changes, but still sort of have their stock. Standard players up both ends who have been doing great things over the last few years but haven't been able to quite polish it. So I think this is an exciting start for the season and very exciting for the Blues. They sort of have Hayley Clayton, who's both their coach and player, and goalkeeper, so a great position for her to sit and watch and, make the changes that she needs to on the court. Holly Woods, again this year, playing in their goal. She was their goal attack on last Saturday and got their best. I hear she had some great plays, just stayed really positive, and was told that Sevi were actually up by 8 at three-quarter time and sort of only won the game in the last 30 seconds. So a real nail-biter, and a credit to Sevi as well, 37-38 on what was actually quite a warm start for the season. So I think tongues are out. Everyone was a little bit hot. And then, for the nearly 40 goals from both teams is a pretty good effort first game of the year. And Hayley Jericho for Sevi was their best in goal defence. So, funny enough, both best players stood each other in the game, which just sort of shows what a tight competition it was for them on the day.
Well done to Ceduna. Must have been a very happy mood in the locker room after the game, winning that one, first win in a couple of years. So well done to Ceduna, starting off on the right foot, and we'll keep an eye on how Thevenard continue to navigate, sort of coming into a new era with all that player turnover. And based on last year's results, again, probably didn't really see this one coming either, with the Western United Tigers beating the Hawks 43-20. What were your thoughts on this one, Rihanna? Did you see this sort of result coming?
Look, probably not at that sort of a margin. I knew that Westies didn't have Durrani on Saturday, so that's a big out for them. But they sort of run with their 7-8 players, but their 7 and 8 players are all very versatile. There's no one that can't sort of go into any position, so they're very flexible in that way. Hawks had 4 players out on Saturday, but nevertheless, they have quite good depth in the B grades, so those holes were filled quite well with our B grade players. Unfortunately, sort of in the first, I think it would have been 30 seconds of the game, Heidi Warmington hurt what I thought was her ankle, but turned out was actually her knee, so she's just waiting to hear results on. She went over and had an MRI, just waiting on results to see how that goes. So shout out to Heidi Warmington. She had a great season last year, and they've been building really well, so hoping that she gets good results and she's on the men soon. But a 23-goal win to Westies is outstanding. Look at 2 years ago, and I don't think they had a win last year. They built really well and just, made the finals and missed out. And then this year they've come out with a bang, and I think this is going to be their year to really take it to all the clubs. Chloe Ettridge is a fabulous defender and played in goals on Saturday without, the normal lineup that they have. So she did beautiful in goal attack, moved really well. Lara Skinner played in goal defence. Her and Harriet were fabulous in defence. Made it really hard for our goalies to sort of not only get their goals in, but if they missed a goal, there was no chance of getting a rebound with those girls. So they did a brilliant job. For Hawks, our best was Carly Wolford, who played goal defence. She, gave it her all game, had a very hard task against Chloe Ettridge in goal attack. She's a very talented player and coach. So, Westies are looking really good at this start of the season. They haven't dropped off. They've built on where they finished last year, and believe they've done a bit of work in the off-season as well. So, they are looking ready to roll.
They were sort of the sleeping giant last year, the Tigers, and it looks like they've really arrived coming into 2024. And you're right, they were winless 2 years ago and Ceduna winless last year. Both got a win in the first week of the season. So from a league point of view, it's certainly great to see. And of course, Wirrala were on the bye, but they're back in action for round 2 and they're taking on the Tigers at Penong. And that's shaping up to be an absolute cracker of a game.
Yeah, I think so too. Look, I think Westies and Wirrala will be a great match-up. Obviously, Westies don't have Heidi. She's still waiting to see sort of what's happening with her knee, and still no Durrani for this week. So Java Shippard will fill in again, as she did last week, and she also played a beautiful game. Wirrala's lineup looking a lot different from their premiership-winning team last year. Soph Kellett not playing, Chelsea Webster and Tara Ackland, so that's 3 really skilled players. But again, Wirrala just seem to pull it out the hat when they lose players. They seem to replace them without a problem. So I'm not really sure of Wirrala's lineup, or sort of whether they've got Haley in defence or goals, or how they'll really line up. But nevertheless, I think they're a great side. Westies, if they can sort of start this game off and just play a nice steady 4 quarters, I think this will be a really good match-up. You would think on paper Wirrala would go in favourites, being that they won the premiership last year, but look, on the quiet, I might just tip Westies for this one for a bit of an upset. I think they show great talent, and if they can get nice and disciplined all the way down the court, I think they could just about do this one.
All right, so the reigning premiers back in action there against the Tigers, who are no longer the sleeping giants. We're well awake to what they're able to do this year. That should be a great game. And it's the 2 sort of top challengers to Wirrala from last year. The Hawks taking on Thevenard in our other game, with the Blues on the bye this week, coming off that great win.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm sure they'll be a bit disappointed that they've got a bye, but then thankful at least they're still going to be going in winners for this weekend. Hawks taking on Thevi. Hawks lineup is looking a little bit different again, still with a few out. Shannon Johnson's out this week, but we'll gain Rochelle. We still don't have Maddie, so we'll find someone to fill that goalie position. And then in defence, we've got Alana Beard back, but still without Alicia. So still missing a couple of key players. But again, as I've said, we've got good depth throughout our grades, so those spots will be filled. I think this will be a good game. I'm interested to see how Thevi go with their different lineup. Some girls in their team that I don't know all that well, but some that are absolutely outstanding. You know, like you've got your Nikki in defence, who's always a fabulous player. So I think this will be a really good game. You know, being that I'm super biased and I might not be coaching these girls this year, but I still have got a daughter playing in the grade, so I can't tip against her. So I'll tip Hawks, but I actually don't think it'll be easy for them at all.
All right, so a big slate of games for round 2 in the Western Eyre Netball Association. Should be a fantastic weekend. And Rihanna, normally this is the time where I'd say thank you very much and we'll talk next week. But bittersweet moment. This is actually your last week as our correspondent for this association. So Courtney Trowbridge, one of the stars of the association, will be taking over from next week. So Courtney, if you're listening, I'm looking forward to chatting to you next week. And Rihanna, big thank you for being the correspondent for as long as you have been. It's only been last year since I've been here, but it's been a pleasure chatting to you each week, and you've certainly made my life easy, which I really appreciate.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me. I love the sport. I think it's great that we get the exposure on the radio and everyone can sort of hear what we're up to out west. And as far as Courtney goes, her netball brain is absolutely brilliant, and I think it'd be nice to not have some Hawks bias on the radio and, come at it from a different avenue. But thank you very much for having me. I love what you guys do with our local sport, and we really appreciate the time you put into it.
Great stuff, Rihanna. Enjoy the weekend, enjoy the netball, and we'll be in touch soon.
No worries. Thanks for having me.